All right, Shalom, Yasharala Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash, double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders, a great millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, whomever you may be, wherever you may be, Shalom, Yasharala Shalom. All right, we're going to get to something. It shouldn't be too long at all. Just a quick hit topic here. Focused on this beautiful face you see on the screen right here. But this was a guy known as Sir Morien. Sir Morien. All right, Sir, because he was, obviously a knight. People used to get knighted back in the days, and he would become known as Sir. Okay, Morien. Not all of them. His name was Morien. I believe it was Morien is how you spell that. Sir Morien, which is also believed to be Saint Maurice, okay? Because when you look up these two individuals, the same statue, all right, the same photographs pull up for the same individual. So it's possible that Saint Maurice was the same individual as Saint Morien, who you can clearly see was so-called black. And as all things, you see a nose chipped off, right? This was an Israelite. And I'm going to play a little clip for you real quick. And this book right here, which I've mentioned these books before, I have a few of them. Very good little pieces of information within these books. Of course, you gotta meat and bones with all things. It says the Negro Question, Part 2, the African slave ships that came from Judah by Lee B. Cummings. All right. Like I said, he has some very good references, factual references in these books of his. And like I said, I have a few of them. This is just one of them. Bear with me, because I'm going to grab something real quick. This is all I want to grab here, because this is our topic. So here you see a huge statue. This is that statue here. It says, try to read the mathematics. I'm just reading around. It says text accompanying this statue at Magdeburg Cathedral. This is the oldest known image depicting Saint Maurice as a Moor, which you had Israelites who were so-called Moors, basically Israelites practicing that the Islamic religion or faith or whatever. All right. So it says depicting Saint Maurice as a Moor. The statue was carved around 1250 and shows him as an armored knight. Okay. So this is him dressed up as an armored knight. Okay. So the statue was carved around 1250 depicting Saint Maurice. Okay. And this is what we're talking about now. Sir Morien, which is believed to be the same as Saint Maurice. Okay. And just to go to show you. And the reason why I'm doing this lesson, if I didn't mention it before, is because Apostle Tahar was on his live stream, and before he really got into the bulk of his lesson, he was talking about the Knights Templar, this, that, and the third thing, and how they were so-called blacks. Okay. And I'm not saying he was a Knight Templar or whatever, but just in the general realm of knights and things. Okay. You had Israelites that served in different armies of heathen nations, man. Do you not have that today? Israelites who are in the American army. Okay, so it's no different. And so you have here, in which in this point in time, I believe around this time, these were actually where Israelites were in rulership. Because you got to think about the time around the not the Maccabees, the Byzantine Empire. Around those times, those were Israelites that were coming into power. All right, Eastern Rome, that they call man, what was it? Because you had Western Rome, which was pagan Rome. The Holy Roman Empire is what they called it. Okay. But anyways, we'll stop this here and finish off the rest. All right. So we have that. And this will be short, other than what we're going to read here. So you see him on the screen. There's the same statue that we just showed there. Okay. It actually has color to it in this one, but you see it still up, dressed in ancient, knight uniform. Okay. You see the big little mitt-looking things, but really there was, armor to keep, their hands protected from sword attacks. Because if an enemy swings at your fingers, cut your fingers off, and especially if it's on your dominant hand that you swing with, well, pretty much the battle's over. Okay. They used chainmail and things of that nature. So a lot of these things were very, very thick, a lot of layers, even though it may not look it, okay? But, a lot of times these armors had different layers to them, okay? But around his head, that was more than likely chainmail, okay? Chainmail was weaved in a certain way, to stop sword attacks, okay? So it says, Sir Morien, Black Knight of the Round Table. And check out what it reads for him. It says, the tale of Sir Morien, written into Celtic Arthurian canon in the 1200s and contemporaneous with the tales of Sir Galahad, begins thus. Herein, the adventure tale of a knight who was named Morien, and of a Moorish princess was he begotten at that time when Aglovale sought far and wide for Lancelot, who was lost, as ye have read here before. I ween that he who made the tale of Lancelot and set it in rhyme forgat, and was heedless of the fair adventure of Morien. I marvel much that they who were skilled in verse and making of rhymes did not bring the story to its rightful ending. Okay, it says he decides to visit England alone in the hopes of finding his father via the quirky but unproductive method of beating up every knight he comes across until they told him where his father was. And now I'm saying this is like some tale, I believe. This is not like true accounts. And if it is true, it will remain to be seen. You just have to do research. But I believe this is just some, tale, because, a lot of tales used to be told back then. But this is supposed to be his story. Okay. So it says, they were actually his father. He says, of beating up every night he comes across until they told him where his father was, where actually his father all along. As a teenager, he held his own against the disguised Sir Lancelot in hand-to-hand combat for so long that Sir Gawain begged them to stop fighting, as he couldn't bear to see such good knights kill each other for stupid reasons. And it may be actually some truth to some of these, accounts. Like I said, you just have to do your own. I'm not really trying to do some deep research here. Just want to, scratch the surface on this topic, because it's more so just to showcase this guy here. All right. Sir Morien, a.k.a. Saint Maurice. It says, meanwhile, characters in these stories aren't really visually described unless they have here. Look, check out what I believe. Yeah, right here. It says, unless they have superlative characteristics such as mysterious all-black armor or remarkably long golden hair. Many knights were described as dark in hair and features. Hold up. Many knights were described as dark in hair and features, meaning their physical characteristics, how they looked. Okay. It says, instead of placing a large flashing sign in the middle of a saga going, this person is totally a person of color, you guys. We really hope you will take this into account in future adaptations. The narrative might well have said, Sir Bors, who was dark, and moved on, assuming that readers or listeners would interpret it the way the narrator meant. Which there's only one way to interpret it, because, given under Esau's rule, when you hear about a knight or something like that, or as Apostle Paul was talking about earlier, you hear about the early Crusades and things of that nature. You immediately think white men with swords and gray chainmail, white clothes with red crosses on them, and you immediately think white male. Okay, when you hear about a knight, you immediately think white male, or someone that resides, somewhere in the king's castle doing, service in his army, whatever. You immediately think, Venedamite. So it says, Sir Morien is described as wearing North African armor, though most images of him are in European gear, possibly because the artist found Moorish armor too hard to draw. Okay. And if I'm correct, I actually have this somewhere in a book. In one of the books I have. It might even be this one. I'm not going to fish it out now. But it looks familiar, like I've seen these images before. See what it says down below. It says, interestingly, wait till it gets to his description though. Interestingly, this narrative makes a large point of describing his skin color, possibly because it was thought to be unusual and dramatic, especially as he seems to match his own shield and armor, meaning what? It was super black. All right, he had super dark skin, super dark brown skin, because his armor clearly was more than likely black, not brown. But he was so dark brown that he damn near looked like his black armor. So he pretty much looked almost all black from head to toe. His hair, black, skin looked black, armor was black. All right. Everything about him looked actual black. Okay. He was so dark brown skin. Let's read it again. It says, this narrative makes a large point of describing his skin color, possibly because it was thought to be unusual and dramatic, especially as he seems to match his own shield and armor. And this is the same thing that we come across in the scriptures when we talk about the so-called Jesus. People don't want to address what this so-called Jesus looks like, whose real true name in the ancient Paleo Hebrew is Yahushua. But the one who they ignorantly and falsely call Jesus, when they go into his description, now there's a problem. Now he's colorless. Now this, now that. Now there's so many excuses. But when Jesus the Christ was the thing, there was no talk. It's just Jesus, and you think about the white man, okay? And that's it. But when we bring out the true depiction, or at least the true appearance, okay, skin color of the true Messiah, now you know we're in a conundrum, okay? Now there's a problem. No, man, this is the truth, okay? And there's scriptures that talk about skin color for a reason. And what we're quoting right or mentioning right now is mainly Daniel chapter 10, verse 5 and 6, Revelation chapter 1, starting like verse maybe 13 or 14, maybe. Excuse me. I believe there's one in the Song of Solomon chapter 1, like verse 4 or 5. Job 30:30. I believe there's another one in Jeremiah. I forget where it is. Okay. But there's scriptures that specifically mention color, not because it's about a color, but it's about the importance of the truth, man, behind the matter, man. So let's see what else we have here. Here we go. Check this out. It says he was all black. Of course, we know his skin was brown, but he was so dark brown, he looked like the black armor that he wore. That's what they just described him. That's why it says he looked black. He matched his armor, meaning that he looked all black. Okay? That's how dark he was. Check this out. It says he was, check out what I'm reading here. He lighted up. Hadn't done nothing well. Lighted up. He was all black. Even as I tell ye, his head, his body, all right, his head pretty much meaning his hair, black, obviously. His body, so dark brown it'll look black. And his hands, more of his skin color, were all black. Saving only his teeth. His shield and his armor were even those of a Moor, and black as a raven. You see? And so they also, you know, these Edomites out here will have a joke about Jake. You know, the nigga's so black, all you can see is his whites of his eyes or white of his teeth. All right, the lights out, you can't see him. Hee ha 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 ha. But you ain't got no melanin. That's why you so jacked up. See, they try to make fun of us, but really they're the ones that are jacked up. They're the ones that are cursed, man. We're under curses, according to Deuteronomy 28, but they are the truly cursed people. Not only the bases of men, but they're also going to serve 1,000 years captivity for everything they've done. And then they're the only nation known to get rooted out of the earth after the 1,000 years is up. So ha ha ha, the joke's on you. Had they not heard him call upon the Most High, no man had dared face him, deeming that he was the devil or one of his fellows out of hell, because he was so dark, he was so black. Okay, you just a black knight coming. Okay, check out what else it says. It says, for that his steed was so great, and he would, yeah, because he looked like a mighty man. And it says, and he was taller even than Sir Lancelot, and black withal, as I said afore. Okay, so reiterating twice of how dark this man was, and we're talking about a knight. Okay, not some Edomite. Not every knight is an Edomite. Okay, not every soldier in the Roman army was an actual Edomite. Okay, because you had Israelites that served. We're gonna roll into Acts chapter 10. All right, we're gonna get real busy with that one, Lord willing. It says, when the Moor heard these words, he laughed with heart and mouth. His teeth were white as chalk. Otherwise was he altogether black. You see? Super, 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 duper, 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 dark, 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 brown, brown, brown. He looked black, but he had white teeth. So if you approached this man at evening time, when he was coming towards you at sunset, he might have been riding on a black horse with black armor. And if he didn't smile, this is why people feared him, because he was so tall. You know, you could tell he was a mighty man. He probably carried a big ass sword. He probably had a menacing look on his face. But it mentions how he actually called out to the Most High. Okay? And if he didn't smile, you would never see his teeth. which means you'll probably never see him coming until he got a little bit too close. So they thought it was a demon. So it says, Morien's saga ends when he finds his father, Sir Agrovale of the Round Table. And once again, I don't know how true his whole saga is, but the person is actually real. This is a real person. Now, the saga behind it remains to be seen. Is the story, the tale being told, is true account or not. But this is what they're writing about him, and they're most definitely describing him to be exactly what he looked like. All right, a very dark-skinned knight of the Round Table. So it says, and convinces him to return to Africa and marry Morien's mother, thus making an honest woman of her and a legitimate son of Morien. So Agrovale goes, oh, hey, yeah, I completely forgot I was going to do that. Sorry, son. And they get married, and Sir Morien can therefore legally inherit his mother's kingdom and gets to be a king. All right. So that's the so-called story of him. Says statue of a knight believed to be representative of Morien, unknown artist, which is what we saw up above, later brought to Magdeburg Dom and called Saint Maurice. There you go. You see Saint Maurice, circa 1220. So around 1220, 1200s, man. Early to mid 1200s. Miniature from illuminated manuscripts, circa 1350s of Morien. All right. And so that's it. That's all we needed from there. But let's do this since it's there. Let's see if I can find it because I just lost it. Here we go. Let's pull up Magdeburg. See if we can find this place here. All right. So, okay. Wow. Nice structure. I'm a big fan of like medieval structures and things of that nature, and armors and things. Very nice. So this is what we're looking at, and supposedly his statue is around somewhere. If this is the right building anyways, that statue is around here somewhere, and it's still supposed to be up today. But it's just history that you don't hear about in school. All you hear about is Edomite this, Edomite that, revolution, Britain, whatever, all right? Cotton gin, okay? But you never truly hear about Israelite history like that because they want to wipe you out from existence as being known as the Israelites. But what they do want, okay, is to see-hip you, right? And have you just truly forget about all your history and just become one under them, which is what they were trying, which is what Alexander the Greek was trying to do, which is what Antiochus IV was trying to do, which is what they were trying to do in the Tower of Babel. And now Esau is trying to complete that task, man. It's not going to happen. But, I just wanted to share that with you. A little bit of, I don't really know if it's a helpful instant info, which is probably a title. We just, put Sir Morien's name up there in his face. So, Lord will, you will edify. Till next time, Yashar, I'm going to say Shalom.